Everybody wants to continue to profit from the mining businesses across the world, and whether we like it or not, we are in competition with other jurisdictions. Australia has always led, alongside Canada, but we've always led, and we want to stay ahead. So those issues that you talked about, taxation, workplace relations, energy costs, environmental assessment approvals, they are key to staying ahead. So I think IMARC is going to be a great place to have those discussions about, well, how do you bring these costs down? How do you make Australia competitive? And it's going to be great because we've got so many countries coming from around the world that want the same thing, but we want to do it better in Australia. Well, the great thing about the mining industry is you want the most efficient operation possible, because the more efficient, the better it is going to be for the company, the better it is for investors, for shareholders in that company. So you want to bring costs down as much as possible to make things efficient. So the miners go looking for that every day, the producers, everybody in the supply chain, to ensure that costs are brought down. So innovation is big. We are the most productive industry in Australia. The mining industry is 3 times more productive than the next industry. So it's phenomenal in that regard and always has been. But you look for better ways to do things, to be more innovative, to get skill sets that might get you ahead and make sure that new things are learned along the way and implemented into companies. And people get excited about that. They want to make sure that they're part of an industry that is innovative, that is highly productive, and that they can contribute to. Our competitiveness has been always important, and we see ourselves as an industry needing to be competitive. Australia's always been a high cost wage environment. That's fine. We take pride in paying high wages, but we've also got high energy costs. We've got long lead time for environmental approvals. It takes 17 to 18 years, depending on the sector, to get a mine up and running in Australia, and only 1 in 1,000 mines get off the ground anyway. So you want the most competitive environment possible so that big firms and explorers, right through from the smallest to the largest, want to be in Australia. So that is a really important issue, a set of issues for companies to make sure that they've got the right sort of environment to invest here. Well, these are priorities for the Minerals Council and its members. We have committees absolutely focused on issues like environmental assessment and approvals, and we've been working with government to not just help develop the framework around the Environment Protection, Biodiversity Conservation Act reforms, but the implementation of that. So streamlining activities between the states and the Commonwealth are really critical, because if you only have to do one lot of assessments and approvals once across those jurisdictions, you cut down time. So that's really, really important. But then we've been looking for other ways to make the process faster. The introduction of artificial intelligence is a good example of that. So the use of artificial intelligence in our mining industry, we're starting to see some things done around particularly production processing and automation of activities. But there's real scope for the use of artificial intelligence in the regulatory process, because if you get data and information being able to be gathered in a central point, and that information is built on from one set of data to another, you start to develop a consistent and accurate set of information in regards to particular areas around Australia, and then that can be used for decision making. So it doesn't take away from regulators making decisions, it just speeds up the process because you've got access to information just like that. When you have geopolitical uncertainty and you have globalisation fragmenting, countries' relationships and supply chain relationships are so important. So the work that governments do and the work that industry does in talking to governments across the world and those governments working together bilaterally, as you said, I think Australia has great relationships and in building strategic partnerships in country to country, such as with Japan and Korea, with the United States, with individual countries in the European Union, and then in a plurilateral set of arrangements where we might be participating with the G7 as a guest, but an important partner in providing things like strategic materials, critical minerals that might be used for those partners in a supply chain. So we are very good at mining in Australia. We are very good at doing some processing, but we're partnering with other countries in providing the materials that are then manufactured either in a semi-processed form or a totally manufactured form. So when we look at phones and we look at TVs and we look at new electric vehicles as a few products, but everything you think of starts with mining. So we want to be partners, and other countries around the world are seeking us out as partners. And I think that really bodes well for the coal and minerals industry across Australia as the partner of choice with other countries. Well, IMARC is the place to be, and I say it unreservedly as the conference you want to be at in Australia if you're involved in the mining industry. It's the conference that people from around the world, countries bring large delegations. So I expect there'll be more than 120 countries. There'll be more than 12,000 people. There'll be conversations, debates on difficult issues, but those difficult issues must be discussed because we want a thriving minerals industry at a global level, and it's the place you want to make sure that you're unpacking those things that might be barriers, but looking for the opportunities, creating the connections between people, between companies to get that next mine going. So we want to move from 1 in 1,000 opportunities to get a mine on the ground to many more, hundreds across the world, because there is a demand for our minerals and metals at a global level, and good business being done at IMARC will create those hundreds of new mines for the future.